guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I sort of wanted to do a little sit down video and compare and contrast what my two pregnancies have been like so far. How my life has been different. I'm 18 now, so both of them are like teen pregnancies. I was 16 with my first pregnancy and my life was completely different, so I sort of just wanted to compare them for you guys and just talk about pregnancy and teen pregnancy. It is not my goal ever to glorify it at all, but I just wanted to shed some light on the subject. So this video is for anyone who's just curious or interested in what my life has been like throughout these pregnancies, for anyone who's going through the same thing. I also posted on my Instagram story for you guys to ask questions if you had any. So with my first pregnancy, I was starting my junior year of high school. I was 16. I had been dating the father for that whole summer before, so we had been dating for a couple months. The relationship was definitely not serious or anything that I saw being long-term. So I came from a sort of like bad home environment, weird home environment, and moved in with my aunt, and that's when I met the father of my first baby. I was sort of being like a rebellious teenager, and I was with him all the time. We were not practicing safe sex, and we were not thinking about or caring about the consequences at the time, obviously. We were being very irresponsible and living very bad lifestyle. At the time, I thought I was just kind of having fun and enjoying my childhood. Obviously, because of that, I changed my entire life, and I'm so grateful for my daughter, and I love her. I kind of want that to be a message to everyone. Don't just think that like one little thing, one boy, one little relationship is just like for fun and you're just messing around, because just messing around can lead to changing your entire life, whether you think that that's true or not. You always think like, oh, it's not gonna be me, but it could be. So I got pregnant and I was in high school. I didn't really take it seriously, but when I did go and I did try, I was really good in school. And I got really good grades, and I wish that I had just like taken things seriously and just went and actually tried to learn things, because I could have, you know, had a very different path and done really well in high school and gotten into good colleges and all that stuff. At the time, I was living with my aunt when I found out that I was pregnant. Me and my boyfriend, I was actually trying to break up with him. I was trying to leave him because it was a terrible relationship. I've told this story so many times on my channel. He basically told me that like he was intentionally trying to get me pregnant because he was afraid that I was trying to leave him and he wanted me to be like stuck with him. I, of course, was also like not practicing safe sex. So those two things combined led to baby. It's so easy to just say like, just wait, just don't have sex, but obviously that's not going to happen. So practice safe sex. In my case, he's not around at all, and that's sort of his choice, but that might not be the case for everyone. I know a lot of young moms who struggle with their baby daddies and having to deal with custody issues, and they're sort of like trapped in their lives forever. So just think about that before you decide to have sex with someone. I hope all of you high school girls watch this video. So when I found that I got pregnant, my immediate thought was I'm getting an abortion, because at the time I believed in abortion. I just sort of thought like that was the only option. Like I really didn't think that having a baby when you were 16 was an option, when getting an abortion was an option. So I was just like, oh, okay, like yeah, I'm just getting an abortion. That's it. I would talk about it, be like, oh yeah, maybe I can have the baby, but in the back of my head I was like, yeah, right, like no, you're being crazy. It's not happening. So over the first like month or two of my pregnancy, that's sort of like what was going on back and forth in my head. Every day, more and more, I realized how real it was that I had a life inside of me and that was my baby. It was really hard to fathom right away. I actually had an appointment to get an abortion to terminate the pregnancy. And on the way to that appointment, I sort of just realized like I can't do that. I just look back on that and can't believe that like whatever went through my head in that 1 second changed my whole life, and changed it for the better, honestly, because I love my daughter more than anything, and she was real and she was there right when she was conceived. So there was different people telling me not to get an abortion and people telling me that I had to get an abortion, and all of these like forces trying to push me and pull me in different directions. Obviously I decided to keep my baby. So that is one of the main differences between my two pregnancies is that my first one wasn't planned. It was an unwanted pregnancy at first, and this one was planned. Those two factors make a huge difference in my two pregnancies, obviously. Baby's father wasn't in my life at all. He thought that he was gonna get me pregnant and then I was gonna be trapped with him, but instead he got me pregnant and I was like, peace, you're out of here. The whole pregnancy, we were sort of back and forth. I didn't have him around. At the time, I thought it was like so hard. I was like, I'm doing this alone, and it was scary. The idea of, you know, being 16 years old and finding out that you're gonna be a single mom is really scary. I had so much support from my aunt. I lived with my aunt and all my cousins. That pregnancy was really, really easy physically. So this is how my pregnancies are kind of opposite. Physically, it was easy. I had my aunt like taking care of me and she was helping me. She was a stay-at-home mom for her kids. And I just sort of like hung out with my little cousins. I didn't really have many serious responsibilities. I did have a job just to like make my own money. Emotionally, it was really hard because I was so confused about my baby's dad and like how I felt about him. We would sort of text and fight all the time because like I was like, I need you to be in my baby's life. Like she can't not have a dad. I grew up without a dad. My mom grew up without a dad. Basic daddy issues. So emotionally it was really hard because of the idea of not having my baby's father in her life and like figuring out what was best, and I was so afraid of people judging me. I like stayed completely off of social media. I had this like private Instagram account where I would post for like my really close friends like updates on the pregnancy, but I was so self-conscious. I was afraid that I wasn't gonna be a good mom, so I didn't want to tell people that I was pregnant because I was scared, like what if I end up like not being able to do it? What if I just can't be a good mom, and I don't want the world to see that? So I just really like hid myself and isolated myself. I was very, very alone. I was also very, very afraid of the unknown. I had no clue what it was like to be a mom or to be a good mom. I would get stressed out over like all of the baby equipment that I had. I was like, what is this for? Why is there like 10 different kinds of diaper cloths and burp cloths? So it was really, really overwhelming. This like whole new world that you know is like coming for you, like you see it growing every day. This baby's gonna come out one day and I have no clue what I'm supposed to do or what it's gonna be like. Once Laela was actually born, I realized it just comes naturally. Kind of just figure out what you're supposed to do. You have natural maternal instincts. This time around, it's sort of the opposite. I am very mentally and like emotionally good, except I mean I have like crazy mood swings and like hormones compared to the last pregnancy, and I think that's just because I have more things in my environment to kind of trigger that. Living with Logan kind of makes more ups and more downs compared to just sort of being completely by myself and just like having my little cousins there to play with and having my aunt there. Having a significant other and working through a relationship make more like very positive things and some negative things. But emotionally, I'm a lot like more prepared. I know what it's gonna be like, and this time I'm financially stable enough to get, you know, I want for my baby and everything that we need. I know that I can support this baby on my own and I'm not sort of putting almost like a burden on somebody else. Physically, it's been a lot harder this time. Laela was around 9 months old when I got pregnant again. A lot of doctors recommend you wait longer than that. I've seen how like physically hard it's been on me, but also this baby is a lot bigger, so I think this baby's just taking a lot more from me. Usually morning sickness is in like the first trimester. With Laela, for about a month, I would say, I felt very nauseous and I was like tired. I only threw up like once or twice. But I felt like I couldn't really eat that much. The weight that I am now with this pregnancy is like closer to the weight that I was before I got pregnant with Laela. So I think I lost a little bit of weight at the beginning of that pregnancy and then obviously gained a lot back being pregnant with Laela, and then I lost a lot from after I had Laela until I got pregnant with this baby. So that's pretty much the extent of my morning sickness. As far as cravings, my whole pregnancy with Laela, all I really craved was fruit. I wanted like watermelon and like melon and like watery fruit, which was awesome because I was eating pretty healthy. But I mean, don't get me wrong, we went to Shake Shack at least like twice a week and got burgers. Also with that pregnancy, although I weighed a lot more at the beginning of that pregnancy, I also had a lot more muscle. I was lifeguarding that summer, so I was like working out all the time. I was biking like 8 miles a day. I was fit, but I had like more fat on me too, so I had like more muscle and more fat. I think like my bump is kind of bigger. It's just kind of different. Like I don't know how to compare my body other than my actual weight. This pregnancy, morning sickness, absolutely terrible. I was convinced I was having twins, like because of how bad it was. I feel like it was 2 months maybe. I could barely eat anything. I was throwing up all the time. I had no energy. Like I looked sick. I was pale and like skinny. I lost a lot of weight. I was underweight. I basically lived off of chicken soup. I had like iron deficiency because like I could barely eat anything. I had problems with like fainting. After those couple months, I started obviously like gaining more weight back. I'm at a healthy weight now. And with my first pregnancy, Laela had like growth restriction problems. Her dad, he's pretty small, so Laela was gonna be pretty small anyways. She actually had like growth restriction problems called IUGR, interuterine growth restriction, who was causing her to be in like a very low percentile for her gestational age. They had to monitor me very closely that whole pregnancy, so I got a lot of insight on the whole like doctor and ultrasound experience with pregnancy, which actually got me interested in becoming an ultrasound technician. So if I didn't do YouTube, that might have been one of the things I kind of wanted to do. I had a lot of like anxiety about something going wrong with the baby. This time around, they thought I was having the same problem. At first, the baby was sort of looking smaller, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that was just a factor of me having been really sick at the beginning of my pregnancy. The baby started measuring bigger. Laela, now she's very average for her age. As a fetus, she never, I don't think, ever got above the 20th percentile, low 20s maybe. So this baby was measuring like a little small. Now the baby's in the 59th percentile. So this baby is a lot bigger than Laela was, and I can feel it. I like feel her moving a lot more. Also, the fact that I have a toddler makes it harder because I kind of have to like run around and chase a toddler all day. Luckily, I do have Logan to help me most of the time, but he like does work some of the time. So there's a few days a week where I'm by myself with Laela all day, and it can get pretty exhausting. So I'm trying to be on like a really good schedule with her. Another thing that I do have to think about this time is how Laela is going to interact with the baby, because she is a toddler and this baby is going to be a newborn, very fragile. But I actually did kind of have to think about that with Laela because I lived with my 4-year-old cousin at the time, and he was pretty wild, but he was actually really gentle with her and really good with her. I have a feeling she is going to do pretty well. She interacted with my friend's like 4-month-old baby really well. So I think things are gonna go good, I hope. We're gonna find out. Sorry that this video is kind of all over the place. Pregnancy cravings this time. The first thing that I really craved was this grilled cheese that has jam on it, so it's like sweet grilled cheese. And I got it and I was so excited, and then I was too sick to even eat it. So that was really disappointing. But that was like my first craving. All I could think about was this grilled cheese. And another thing that I craved was chili, so that was in one of my recent videos. I'm now going to go and look through all of the questions that you guys asked me on Instagram and see if there's anything else I could add. So a lot of the questions are about just having Logan around versus not having Laela's dad around. So that's been different in good and bad ways because we fight sometimes. I'm very like hormonal and emotional, and Logan doesn't really know how to handle that. So that's been kind of hard on our relationship. We had a whole video about that as well. The other day I had the most crazy mood swings. Like, I'm a pretty calm person, but I was like so angry that I like had this urge to like slam stuff and like throw stuff, and it was really scary. Like, I was freaking myself out. And then I would just like, I just cried like to Logan for literally no reason. And it was for like an hour, and I just like, I couldn't think of a reason why I was crying at all, but I was just like sobbing. It was a little scary. So I was just going up and down. I was like angry, and then I was crying, and then I was like laughing, and I was happy. It was so weird. So that didn't really happen as much with Laela. It's clear that he's gonna be a good dad. He's like grown a lot and matured a lot, and is like ready to have this baby. I'm just very confident in him, and I'm very happy that I'm with someone I want to be in my children's lives. But there are still times where, you know, like we fight and it's stressful for me. There are times where I feel like we need to be separated for a little bit. We need time apart, which is why it's good that he has work for like 3 days a week. So we kind of have like that time apart where we can kind of just like collect ourselves and be alone for a while. So it's been positive and it's had negatives. It's definitely been better for me that I'm with my baby's dad this time, and I don't feel like I'm doing it alone. This was both of our decisions, both of our responsibilities. It has helped me a lot and like filled a hole in my heart that I had in my last pregnancy, that I know that my children are going to grow up with their dad, and that was like a huge thing that I was like, how am I going to have this baby that's going to grow up without a dad? I'm not going to be able to find someone that is going to date me when I'm a single mom, and I did. My due date is December 11th, which is exactly 6 months after Laela's birthday. They will be very close to exactly 6 months apart, so they're like in opposite seasons, which is going to be kind of harder having a baby in the winter, I think. Like, it's flu season, you have to like bundle them up. A lot of our friends are gonna be home from college and want to come see the baby. I just can't have people coming around the baby at all the first like month, because flu season is just gonna like freak me out. So we're gonna be staying in this bubble, and only like our families will be allowed to come. So I hope this gave you a good idea of what the difference between my 16-year-old pregnancy and 18-year-old pregnancy have been like. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Laela just woke up from her nap. She wants to say hi. Can you say bye-bye and blow a kissy?